We're going to start now with a new healing technique that was adopted by the Essenes about 4,000 years BC. So for the last 6,000 years, some people have been using this technique. They don't refer to it as foot reflexology, but that's what we would call it today. Some people would say this is zone reflexology. We're going to start by grabbing our toes, and we're going to pull our toes away and push them. Pull, push, pull, push. We're just going to do this 10 times. You can do it a dozen times if you want to, but we're just going to pull, push, pull, push. And what we're doing is that we're actually releasing and relieving the pressure from lymph that is collected down in here, and we're pumping it away from our toes. Next thing we do is we grab our toes and we pump now around our ankle. We're moving away from and toward our leg so that we're pumping again around the ankle. Now, if people have puffy ankles, this is a really good way to get that fluid moving out of their body, moving up into the legs, moving into the interstitial fluid and into the lymph, flow of lymph into the lymph nodes and up through the body. So we do that first. When we're done, we start with our toe. And we squeeze the top of our toe tightly so that we can feel a little bit of pressure. And we just move down the toe, pressing hard as we go until we find a place where it feels a little bit painful, where we feel a little bit of pain, or where we feel a lot of tension, tightness, hardness. And we press on that area until that tension, that hardness, that pain goes away. And we press a little harder until it goes away. And we press a third time until it goes away. Now, reflexologists will tell us that the big toe on my left foot is related to my head on the left side of my head, between the middle of my head and the side of my eye, in that area of my head. I don't know what's going on there, and I really don't care, because what I'm doing is I'm noticing I have some pain there, so I'm going to make it go away. And as I make it go away, I feel myself relaxing in my head. I feel my face relaxing as I work down my toe. And then I go through the next toe, and I do the same thing. I just squeeze it as I go down, and I squeeze the next toe. And if I find a place where it hurts, I stop and I press and I hold it. And I go deeper a second time, and I go deeper a third time. And when I'm done, I go on to the next toe, and finally the little toe. When I'm done with my toes, I've theoretically finished everything up to my neck. And now I come to the place where my toes meet the ball of my foot, and I press in there because that's my shoulders. And as I go in those areas, if there's anything where I feel any tightness or any hardness, that's because I'm tight in my shoulders. And guess what? Between all 5 of my toes, I felt a little bit of pain. So I'm going to go back and work them all over. I'll start with the first one. And as I'm pushing that, I can actually feel right through here in my neck, in this area in here, start to relieve some tension. And I pressed harder and harder 2 times. I'm pressing now in the next one, and I'm hurting in here, and I can feel it right there. Right on my collarbone, I can feel some things happening, and I'm pressing harder because that pain went away. And I'm just holding it because the pain is not going away, and I can feel that this is still tight. And as we're talking now, I can feel it release, and I press harder a third time. And when it goes away, I go to my next toe. And I'm right out here now, pretty close to where the shoulder joint is. And I can feel as I'm pushing against that part of my body, there's a lot of tension there still. Not as much up here as there was, not as much in here as there was, but here there is. And as I continue to press, I can continue to feel it get softer and softer. And I move my little, and I'm out to the side of my shoulder, and there's no pain there. There was earlier, But as I relaxed my shoulder across, it went away. And I move now to the ball of my foot. The ball of my foot is my chest area. And I just press in there until I find a place and just move across until I find a place where it's tender, where it's sore, where there's pain, where there's any tightness or tension, where there's any hardness of the muscle. And if there is, I stop right there and I press against it. And I continue to press until it releases and becomes soft. Then I press harder. And when it becomes soft the second time, I press a third time. And I'm going deeper and deeper all the time. And whatever is happening in my body. I'm doing it to my feet, but it's happening inside me. It's not my chest right here. I'm between the second and the third toe. So I'm just inside my own breast area. And I don't feel anything on the surface. I mean, it feels very relaxed. But inside, I feel something happening. It could be in my lungs. It could be in the blood flow. But I just pressed 3 times, made it, and I finished across my chest. Nothing else is happening.